I just saw this video of this girl who is in $65,000 worth of credit card debt, and when you hear what her income is, I think you may just pass away.
The only reason I'm not living paycheck to paycheck is because I quit teaching.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you do not learn how to manage money, you will always be broke.
There's living paycheck to paycheck, and then there's living from bill to bill.
A lot of people don't actually know what paycheck to paycheck even means.
When you check your account, you have to check it really, really fast, like look really fast and hurry up and close it, because if you don't, you'll get real pissed.
Despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living.
I make $150,000 a year as a single income earner. I live paycheck to paycheck.
And what most people are going to tell you that you need to do is that you need to get a second job, which is bullshit.
You don't have to buy bacon. You can do a lot with just eggs, bread, milk, and butter.
I'm so tired of being broke. I have done all the right things.
I have done everything that you were told in society to have a good life, and I come up short every goddamn week.
Let's just be for real. When you have kids, there are just things that you have to buy and purchase in order to be able to take care of your family, like extra food.
I live paycheck to paycheck in one of the most expensive cities in the country.
I have money, but not like enough.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Intabi Singh, and in this video I'll be sharing with you interesting TikTok videos that I am scavenging throughout the day and finding on various topics that you will enjoy with me, and I will give you my little hot take either throughout the video or towards the end. So sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I just saw this video of this girl who is in $65,000 worth of credit card debt, and when you hear what her income is, I think you may just pass away. They're pulling in over $16,000 US bi-weekly, which means a gross household income of over $416,000 a year. Now let's consider they had an average effective tax rate of 25%. That puts them at about $312,000 a year, or $26,000 a month. Even at 24.99% interest, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to pay off this debt in 6 months. But what it looks like to me is she's actually taken out a debt consolidation loan to pay this off over the next 5 years. And from a pure math perspective, this doesn't make any sense. But that's the thing that people get wrong about becoming financially stable. It's not just about the math. It's not just about the numbers. It's about psychology. How many of you watching this have credit card debt and have the cash in your bank account that you could use to pay that debt off, but you're not because you just don't want to see the money leave? How many people are spending money on things that they don't need because they've had a rough day, or because you subconsciously feel like making this next purchase will make everything in your life fall into place, or that you went and bought the thing not because you wanted it, but because you wanted someone to see you with it? These are not math problems. This is psychology, or more accurately, it's something called your money mindset. There is absolutely no way I would have been able to pay off my $40,000 in debt if I did not fix my money mindset or fix my limiting beliefs about myself and money that were causing me to take actions that were keeping me stuck. See, when you just focus on the math or the tactic, that's the end result. That's the action. But our actions don't just happen. Our actions come from our thoughts, and our thoughts come from our beliefs. The reason why you can't get ahead with money is because you're focusing over here and forgetting all of these other steps. Until you update those beliefs, until you update that money mindset, you will never get ahead financially. It will not matter how much money you make. It will not matter if you learn how to invest, because you can live paycheck to paycheck on any income.
I think the problematic thing that we keep forgetting is when you earn a lot of money, like 20,000 USD or more, sometimes, especially if you haven't been trained mentally, like your psyche, like you haven't really processed it and what it means and all of that. And if it's happening, I mean, I don't think this lady is even aware of why she's in the kind of debt she's in as someone who's a high income earner. But for instance, people go out and buy an iPhone forgetting that, wait, if I earn 26,000, I technically can just buy it cash. Like, why are you not buying it cash? And this is something that I've seen people struggle with who are high income earners who have just gotten out of being middle class or something like that. It's the idea that, oh wait, I don't need it on credit. But here's the problem though. So the choice is buy it cash and then wait until I can buy something else that I want, versus, oh, because I earn much more money, it means my ability to get even much more credit to do, or to get even way more things at the same time, is significantly larger, right? So let me get all these things on credit because I want them all right now. So that's what you're going to do. I've seen someone do this repeatedly, and I don't know how that's possible. So yeah, I don't know. It's a mental thing, is it? It has to be.
I know that the only reason I'm not living paycheck to paycheck is because I quit teaching. Even with a master's degree, even with 8 years of experience, I was always going to be living paycheck to paycheck as a teacher because things accelerate more quickly than teacher salaries do. And there's always going to be the people who say you knew what you signed up for, but those people are wrong because what we signed up for was based on the understanding that our teachers who we had as kids, they owned a home and they didn't have to have a husband who worked in finance in order to finance their livelihoods. I didn't know a single teacher under 30 while I was teaching and now who either didn't have a partner who was making twice as much as them or had a roommate so that they could split an apartment together or was living with their parents. And the people I know who are teaching in an area where they're paid six figures are commuting to that area because they can't afford to live in that area. Because even if you're making $100,000 as a teacher, that's in an area where the homes start in the 600s. So what are you going to do? Buy one? In the 80s and 90s, it was possible to be a teacher and buy a home. And in the 2000s, that began to slip away. And now it's truly impossible. If you are a teacher with your degree, you should be able to purchase a home and live not just paycheck to paycheck. You should be able to afford to go on a vacation during your summer break. You should be able to afford to do things that you enjoy. The amount of teacher on a budget accounts that exist is insane. If you don't believe me, go to any school parking lot and in the faculty spots, check out the backs of their cars. They're covered in stickers. They're selling essential oils, they're selling Scentsy, they're involved in every type of MLM. They're driving for Uber, they're driving for Lyft. They have side hustles galore because they need second and third jobs in order to make ends meet. It should not be a controversial statement to say that teachers deserve to be paid enough that they can buy a home in the area in which they teach. Period, full stop.
I don't know how possible this is in the country that this lady is in, but I know of people, I mean, it depends what kind of teaching she's talking about. This could be primary school, high school, foundation level kind of teaching. But surely, if you got into higher education, academia, became a professor, a lecturer, or something like that, you could technically increase your salary like way more than what a teacher would normally get. I don't know how it works, but I feel like in my country, there are a lot of people who've managed to increase their salaries that way from teaching. So you start off as a foundation phase teacher, and then you end up in, I don't know, academia, somewhere in higher education, college, university. However, we all know that academics technically still don't earn a lot of money. I think no matter what country you're in, you're just not going to earn a lot of money versus someone who's in like corporate. I don't know how true it is. If you're an academic, if you've been in her position and changed it, please let me know. And you're still within your field and still teaching, or you went into a university or a college, like, is the salary different? Is it better? I wonder.
I am broke until payday. I'm going to take some leftovers to work for lunch. Don't let no crutches person on the internet you don't even know hides behind a fake profile, make you feel shame for the way you live your life. It's a very realistic thing to be broke until payday. This series was to inspire people, make them think twice. It's been 10 days since I realized I was broke until payday and I had £60 left in my account. So I used my brain and I looked at what was in my home first. I prayed over my situation. My belly has been full all week. Some of the meals that I've been putting together, you could never, even if you had been paid. Some people have been making comments like, at your big age. At my big age, what does that even mean? Any one of you can find yourself in a bad position tomorrow. Whether it's your finances, your health, your love life, what you put out there is going to come back to you. That being said, I got my child benefit on Monday and I thought I was going to have to use most of it to do a top-up shop. However, I'm still living off a lot of freezer food. I'm buying the odd thing here and there. I'm showing you that in the videos. There's no chicken left. However, I have 4 fillets of salmon in the freezer. I'm going to take that out to defrost. And tonight we're going to have a salmon and pasta, creamy something with peas. Anyway, this is our breakfast and now I'm off to work. Bye, guys.
First of all, like, she's talking about being broke and I'm looking at the eggs. I'm like, damn, what kind of broke is that? Like, if I say I'm broke, especially eggs, like, I'm not gonna have eggs. Like, best believe eggs is not a staple. If I am broke, I'm not buying eggs. Eggs are flipping expensive. And then she has salmon. How are you broke with salmon? Wow. And I mean, okay, you know, paycheck to paycheck, middle class, you're probably going to be able to have salmon frozen in the fridge, but still, like, the only kind of fish I would have if I was paycheck to paycheck and baroque, it's like some canned fish that's like pilchard or something like that, tuna, you know, That's the kind of fish I'd have.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you do not learn how to manage money, you will always be broke. Love letter number 12 of 30 to a girl in her 30s. There are 2 ways to stop living paycheck to paycheck. The first one is the traditional route, which everyone talks about. Budget, save, be disciplined. The second one is to drastically increase your income. I do both, but I've leaned heavily into number 2. Just being honest. I am not telling you that you should find another job, but statistics show you should keep your options open. Job seekers who switch jobs can see a salary increase of about 10 to 20%, while those who stay in the same position may only receive a 3 to 5% annual increase. So it doesn't hurt to keep an eye open. Remember, a career journey is personal. Things I've learned as I've climbed out of living paycheck to paycheck, an increase in income can cover some bad habits. Not saying that's good, but it is what it is. Writing out your bills and expenses help. Once you actually do the math, you might realize that your bills far exceed your income. So you have 2 choices: lower your expenses or increase your income. Pay yourself first. Every time you get paid, it's important to have an automatic withdrawal from your account to your savings account. A high yield savings account is the way to go. And you need an emergency fund. In my 20s, I was one emergency away from moving back to my hometown. 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Pay off your consumer debt. It will change your life. Surround yourself with people that don't shy away about talking about money. Find people who encourage you to make good money moves. And give yourself some grace, especially if you watched your parents struggle to make ends meet. Because you're operating off what you've seen, and that is basically do what you can to survive. I love you.
First of all, I love her advice. But the problem is, like the first lady said, it's all mental. It's like psychology. So it's like someone who's a drug addict, they already know what they need to do. They already know the steps they need to take. A lot of the time they do know. Wow, it's like an ice cream truck. Sorry if you can hear that. But they already know the steps that they need to take. The specifics, go to rehab, all of that. But it's the doing that is difficult. And not only the doing, because the doing is hard, but there's some mental block. You want to do it, but your body and your desires, you're being controlled by something else. Like, it's literally a mind game. And there's this guy actually who was explaining a story saying that the steps that he took in rehab, literally it was like mind surgery, because I think that's what's needed to get out of certain habits, right? It's all psychology. So yeah, you could go to a financial advisor if it's mental, if it's psychological. Okay, if your struggle is like inside, which usually for other people, I don't think it is. Like, it's an issue if I just don't make a lot of money or enough money. But if it is mental, you're not going to win with this advice, in my opinion. You need something different.
Let me tell you something. There's living paycheck to paycheck, and then there's living from bill to bill. And I just want to remind you that if you have a roof over your head and food in your belly, you have so much more than a lot of people.
I feel like I have to check what paycheck to paycheck versus bill to bill is. Paycheck to paycheck versus bill to bill. What the heck is the difference? So living paycheck to paycheck means that an individual's expenses are so high that they rely on their next paycheck to cover their necessary expenses. Okay. Living bill to bill, on the other hand, describes a situation where an individual is struggling to pay their bills but not necessarily relying on their next paycheck. Wow. Okay. I didn't realize there's another level to this struggle in life. Bill to bill sounds depressing. What is that? Like, what kind of paycheck to paycheck is that? So you're juggling multiple bills due to due dates. Oh, it's like when you're deciding whether you want to pay rent this month or the water bill. Okay. I don't know. See, that's a very serious, deep level of paycheck to paycheck. That's not even paycheck to paycheck, because paycheck to paycheck means you can cover all your bills. You just need the next month's paycheck. You need it. Like you literally spend every single thing. Like, there isn't a little bit to enjoy. So So you can't do anything extra, but your money covers everything. Okay, I get it.
Remember that study that six-figure earners live paycheck to paycheck? And everyone was like, that can't be true. They're right, it isn't. So what's really going on? It turns out a lot of people don't actually know what paycheck to paycheck even means. First of all, I did a quick little Google search and most of these articles come from self-reported data. So they asked people, are you living paycheck to paycheck? And those people said yes. Let me be clear. If you have an emergency fund, if you have savings, if you could miss one paycheck and still pay your bills from somewhere, you are by definition not living paycheck to paycheck. I can't believe I have to explain this. The reason all these people are saying that they're living paycheck to paycheck is because they're looking at their entire paycheck and seeing that every dollar goes to something. You know, some of it goes to the mortgage, some of it goes to food, some of it goes to saving and investing. Yes, they're including saving and investing. And then at the end of all of that, there's no money left. Well, yeah, that's how math works. All that money is going somewhere. If you add up all the pieces and then complain that it adds up to the total, that makes no sense. What they're describing isn't living paycheck to paycheck. It's something completely different called zero-based budgeting. It's a really common way to budget where you look at all the money coming in and then you figure out where each dollar is gonna go. Now, are some six-figure earners genuinely living paycheck to paycheck? Sure, but let's be clear about the fundamental misunderstanding that's going on here.
This is so funny because when I saved this video, I was not in. I did not intentionally save the other before this one. Like, it's so funny because it's so true. A lot of people do not know the differences between paycheck to paycheck. I mean, they don't know what paycheck to paycheck is. Like, I clearly just figured that out now. So you might be out there saying you're living paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, you are living bill to bill. Okay. That is insane.
I want to tell you a way to budget your paycheck so you don't go broke. Keep in mind that this will only work if you're able and disciplined enough to keep your money split like this. Say you get your first paycheck of the year. 20% of that should go to your savings and investing. So whether you split 10% to savings, 10% investment, up to you. Your future self will thank you for this because you're basically investing in your future self and saying, hey, if there's a rainy day and I have some unforeseen costs, I will be able to cover it. Next, 30% of your paycheck should go to rent or mortgage. If your rent is greater than 30%, your place might be a little bit too expensive. Maybe your area is just that way, but mortgage should be 30 to 35%. Next, 10% should go to your transportation. So whether that's your commute to work, to school, or anything like that, whether that's bus or driving a car. This should cover your monthly bus pass fee or your car insurance and also your gas. Actually, just going back on the transportation, I think in this economy, if you have a car and your car insurance around $200 a month, I think this should probably be 15%. Yep, so transportation should be 15% of your paycheck. Next, we have 20% goes to foods and your needs. So this is your groceries, monthly groceries, weekly groceries, and needs such as any products that you need at home. And last but not least, this 15% of hooray money, we can use it for travel, self-development, or just our wants in general. If you don't use this money, that's okay too. You can always pull this extra savings into your savings and investments. And now you know. Honestly, try it out, see if it works, see if you have savings, more savings than you would have saved if you just did it whatever way you were doing now. So yeah, let me know.
Yeah, so first of all, I do not agree in putting away 20% to savings and investing. I feel like that is an incredibly tiny amount of money. I feel like if you're under 40, let's say 40, 35 and under, 40 under, it should be at least that 30, 35, 40 would be decent, because you should be aggressively investing in your earlier years, right? So just like you should be putting money into stocks, instead of bonds or whatnot, because you want to be more aggressive. I don't know, I might be wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know everything, but yeah, I feel like a decent amount is at least over 35. If you're lucky, some months I go 70% of my income, and I know that's insane, only because my life is set up to allow me to do that, because I literally live like a poor person at this point. Okay, not entirely, but I cut out pretty much anything and everything. I do not travel, I don't do anything, and this is just what I'm going to do for the next 5 years. If I miss out on anything, I'll miss out on things. That's it. But yeah, 20% is very little.
Hey guys, there's few things I hate more than making my landlord richer and paying my rent. That being said, it's February 3rd and we have to do both. 3 paychecks for the month of January just because there's 5 weeks in the month of January, so I got a little extra one in there, but it's not like extra money. In total, my take home was $5,715.49. My base rent is $2,946, which I know is insane, but such is living in Southern California. Realizing right now they raised my pet rent by 90 cents. Sleazy. So my pet rent is $40.90 just for having a little kitty. Water power bill, $94.89. And my Wi-Fi and my phone, $73.24. Gas bill was $9.15. Sewage was $1.98. So I do $300 a month to my church, $25 to Civil Beat, and then I do another $20 a month to World Relief. First credit card bill to pay off is $958.46. And my next credit card bill, $830.84. If you're still with me, I have $415 left. My Prime card right now has a $6 balance, so let's pay that. My Southwest credit card has a $149 balance, so I'm gonna pay that down. And then my iPad, $32 and something, but honestly I'm forgetting what it exactly is right now. So we're just gonna call it $33. That leaves $213.07 left over.
What?
Hopefully this was helpful. Happy budgeting.
I'm a little confused. If your credit card bill, your first credit card bill is $958.46, and you are paying $300 at your church, that makes no sense to me. I don't know. Look, I'm Christian. I don't know what kind of church you're talking about, but I'm I believe in all that, and I know I understand you need to, give and whatnot, donate even the $20. But you could literally pay off that 900 and something in so soon. So if you're telling me you're doing 300 every single month and yet your credit card bill is literally under $1,000, that's a little weird for me. Unless if you're not accruing any interest, then okay, it's like an opportunity cost thing. My money does better in a different area than this one, so might as well just keep this balance. It doesn't really do much, I'll pay it off when I pay it off. Otherwise, but then again, look, it's a priority thing. Maybe it's really important for her to make sure that she does contribute the $300 to church. So no judgment there. I've been there. I have done something similar. I no longer do that.
And I gotta say this, when you check your account, you have to check it really, really fast. Look really fast and hurry up and close it, because if you don't, you'll get real pissed. So, yeah.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode, because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments, and a lot of the time they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, well, you shouldn't have chose that job, somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I cannot keep doing this.
This is heartbreaking, because I remember when I did my honors degree, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm technically, I am standing on a better leg because I have an honors degree, and other people just have a normal 4-year degree. I have an advanced degree. I'm going to get a better job. Please, okay. There's no such a thing. There really isn't. I literally had a boss at my first job tell me that I'm not going to pay you more just because you have an honors degree. Are you crazy? I was so offended, but I feel like I needed that, because I was like, oh, okay. So what you're saying is it doesn't matter. Yeah. So that was horrible. That was a very bad experience. But also I think one of the best things that have like that has ever happened to me is getting a remote job. And COVID, let me just say, COVID is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I know this sounds crazy and wild, but remote work became normalized, and I've saved so much money. I don't have to travel, no commuting fees. Like, I can stay at home. Okay, mom and dad's house is fully paid off. I have a great life that allows me to save a lot of money. Okay, like so much money, it's insane, just because I can work from home. So I feel like if you're also doing paycheck to paycheck and you can't save money, you can't invest, perhaps if you can do remote. Even if I know remote sucks sometimes because it's a bit depressing. So maybe like do it for like 2 years, 3 years and save as much as you can. And then go back to like normal corporate. Like, you're going to save so much money. I promise you.
I make $150,000 a year as a single income earner. I live paycheck to paycheck. I have no retirement. I have no savings. And it sucks. And I work 24/7. Farm Girl Nerd here has a great quote though. She says, "You must gain control over your money or the lack of it will forever control you." And I am living proof of this statement. I'm in massive debt. And it was not overnight. It happened over an 11-year span. When I tell you that I live paycheck to paycheck, it is not an exaggeration. This is why budgeting is so important. I was in an abusive relationship for many years and I was controlled. Budgeting feels very controlling to me, when in reality, all it is telling you where to put your dollars. It's interesting because as I'm going through this journey of getting out of debt, the more and more I realize that I am human and I have made mistakes, but I am taking control of those actions. And one day I will control my money. Right now I don't. Every single penny goes to minimum payments and it sucks. And that doesn't even include rent and mortgage. I have the day off work today and I'm outside hustling to pay for life. Budget, people, and actually apply the budget.
Wow. When she was saying she's living paycheck to paycheck on 150K a year, at first I just wanted to judge. I was like, don't do that, Ntabi, don't do that, because she mentioned being or having come from an abusive relationship. And that's an important thing, because I feel like her mentioning it says so much. It speaks volumes, because it lets me know that relationship potentially has something to do with the situation she finds herself in financially, because the abuse could have been anything. It could have been physical, it could have been financial. So yeah, I've seen people who are controlled like financially, and it's so sad. So it's, I mean, you being 150K, getting 150K, and then you're living paycheck to paycheck, I mean, absolutely something had to have gone wrong. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the ex-partner is really responsible here or messed her up mentally, emotionally. Like, yeah, this is sad.
If your bank account goes in the negative every single week, or maybe every other week if you get paid every other week, that's called living paycheck to before paycheck, and it means you need another income stream. And what most people are going to tell you that you need to do is that you need to get a second job, which is bullshit, because that is not true. People told me that 4 years ago, was that in order to pay off your debt, you need to have a second job. Well, I didn't even want to work the first job I had, okay? I didn't want to go to work 9 to 5 and miss time with my son and my family. So why am I going to go out and get a second job? It doesn't make any sense. It's just more time away from my family, just so that I can make a little bit of extra money to pay a little bit of that extra debt, just so that I can create more debt. So I found a way to make money online instead of scrolling for 2 hours on my phone or watching Netflix or playing Candy Crush. So if you want all the details on how I did that, drop me below.
That sounds like a sales pitch, right? But she kind of has a little bit of a point there. A second job is not a bad idea. I mean, heck, take it. If it means you're going to get out of a bad situation, take it, please. Okay. But if you really, really want to grow your finances, I think it's always a good thing to make money without spending this, like without exchanging your time for money. And I find, like, for instance, being a self-published author, obviously the biggest investment is writing the book, and then I'm done, and then I get it published, and I wake up and I've sold the book, or 5 books, or 30 books, or 100 books. I don't technically have to put in effort or work every single day. So yeah, I think what you're saying makes sense. If you have the opportunity to make money online, and trust me, it is possible. There are many different ways you can do this. Like, people find success with eBay, with is it Etsy? I've never found success with Etsy. You could technically maybe find it, and although I didn't. Some find success with YouTube. Some find success with like Amazon KDP. Like, it can be anything. I think try out all these different things. I'm pretty sure one of them is bound to be like a success. Redbubble is another one. You could try drop shipping, although considering what's happening right now politically, I don't know if it's a good idea to rely on a country outside of your own to drop ship. So maybe not the best thing. I mean, especially if you're in the US. But if you're outside the US, yeah, try drop shipping. Why not? I don't know. Just try anything online and get a second job if you need to.
There was a lady on here complaining that she had to ration her kids' bacon. I wish I could find her, because I really want to tell her that you don't have to buy bacon. You can do a lot with just eggs, bread, milk, and butter. The problem is the prices. I will agree there. There's a lot of things I don't eat anymore because of prices. But the main problem is that you don't know how to be poor, and you don't know how to meal prep or plan your food budget.
Dang, I was about to say you can do a lot with just water, with sugar. I don't know what you call it in your country, and bread and butter. Like, that's another level of surviving. Okay, some people only do bread with water. Okay, that's a poverty level, which is not funny. It's not funny at all. I've lived through this. Okay, which not all the time, but you know, like right before payday, my mom would be like, no, peanut butter on bread with tea, not peanut butter and jelly. Like, you need to pick which one is it. You can't do everything, baby girl, you know. So I've lived that experience. So yeah, I do agree. That sounds like you're complicating your life a little bit. But at the same time, you don't want to make your kids so aware that you're going through something. So I understand the desire to kind of shield them from the struggle and just make it seem like everything is still normal. You know, don't stress them out and be like, oh wait, mom, are we struggling? Are we poor? I've seen, like, kids are so, they pick up on the most weirdest things, and it does affect them because they get to school and they ask questions and they look around, oh, why does he get to have that? So perhaps the lady has a reason, and it's easy to judge, but I'm sure she knows what she's doing. You know, it's her family, it's her kids, it's her money, it's her bacon.
Okay, y'all, I am pissed. And yeah, I'm coming on here to talk to you guys about it. I'm so tired of being broke. I have done all the right things, and I am working as much as I can, being a single mom, trying not to take away more time away from my child. So I'm doing TikTok, and I am trying to do as many lives, but get enough sleep so I'm healthy for my child, but also find a time to work out, find a time for me. That's not including any of those things. And I just had to freaking take out a loan to buy groceries. Like, I had to use a firm and pay interest for my bare minimum fucking groceries. And you know what? For everybody that is going to be like, it's your fault for being a single mom. It's your fault for being in debt. It's not. Like, and I know that. I know it's not my fault, and I know I'm doing everything. But it doesn't make it any better. Like, the fact that for bare minimum groceries, I am now having to pay a monthly thing, and I had to make it the smallest amount because I don't have any extras. So I had to make it the small amount. So I'm going to be stretching this over a frickin' year and paying $12 extra each month because I don't have extra dollars. And then next month I'm going to be even more debt because now I have this added on top of it. But I'm going to need more groceries after this week to feed my son and I. Like, I don't get how people are surviving. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. And I know I'm not the only one. I needed to come on and say it. Okay. Thanks.
Wow. I didn't expect her to actually say what she just said about using debt for groceries. But you know what's funny? A lot of people are doing this. They just don't talk about it. Or not only do they not talk about it, they don't think about it like that. Like, you're using your credit card, not your debit card, and you realize at the end of the month you're supposed to pay off the balance, and you're like, oh shoot, I can't pay off the balance. Well, then isn't that something similar? You needed the money. You can't pay it off now. I'm sure you bought groceries. You got some really like necessities. You're technically doing something similar. Like, a lot of people are living like this. It's just the moment you say it to yourself, like, and you see it, you're like, dang, this is actually very bad. I shouldn't have to do this. And I think it makes sense to take out a loan for food, like on like a wedding or like some event or like a sudden like funeral. Okay, not a wedding. Like, you don't have to take out debt. Taking out debt for a wedding is problematic as it is. Maybe a funeral, something sudden that you really need. Like, hey, we need to feed all these people. What are we gonna do? Maybe that makes sense. But then again, it makes sense to do what she's doing too. You're literally just trying to survive at this point, right? So you're doing the best you can do, especially being a mom. You have to provide. You have to, don't feel bad. Like, I mean, obviously it's terrible, but what else are you going to do? And it sounds like she's literally hustling. She's talking about doing lives. She's talking about, what is it, TikTok, I think she mentioned. So, the best you can do is just keep pushing. Something will give. I really honestly believe that. Like, if you tell the universe what you really want, I really feel like it's listening. And it will absolutely provide. It'll lay it at your lap at some point.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm a mom of 4 from a small town in Ontario, Canada, and I never want to look at my bank account wondering how I'm going to make it work this week. I never want to look at my bank account wondering what groceries I can and can't get. I never want to not be able to make memories with my kids. I'm tired of missing out on the class trips. I'm tired of telling my kids no, they can't play baseball. No, they can't do gymnastics. I never want to feel the guilt that I am feeling right now because I am stuck in this paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. I have gone to school. I have gotten a job. I have tried starting my own company. I have done everything that you were told in society to have a good life. And I come up short every goddamn week. And I'm sick of it. So I have found a program that is teaching me step by step how to make an income online with no monthly expenses. It's teaching me literally step by step. It is walking with me with live training every single day, mentoring, mindset coaching. It is an interactive program that is teaching me the skills that I need to build a legacy for my family, and I'm never going back.
What's crazy is, as someone that is child free, it sounds like paycheck to paycheck hits very differently when you have kids. Like you think adulthood is bad. It sounds like parenthood is another level of bad when it comes to like being paycheck to paycheck. Because that's what I keep hearing. Like, keep picking this up. Okay, what are we going to feed the family? What are we going to feed the kids? And this and that. Oh my goodness, this is stressful. I can't even feed myself.
I just watched a video on here and I am a little bit triggered. Let me tell you why. All right, so in this video, the girl was like, if you have a 2-income household, you should not be struggling. Somebody in your household does not know how to manage money. Then I looked at the comments, and the comments was like, oh, people living beyond their means, what I'm saying? People having too many kids that they can't afford. Y'all know I got 3 kids, right? So that's why I'm a little bit triggered. Like, I feel like me and my husband make good money. And I feel like we do not live, like, above our means, so say. Like, we have 3 daughters. We have a home. We have 1 vehicle. When I tell you, I feel like we did everything right. And nothing could have prepared me for what the economy became after 2020. I'm a nurse. So 2020 was like a really shaky year. Like, I was teaching, and then I went back to bedside, and then I did travel contracts just to get the bag. But even still, in making the most money you've ever made. Like, there are just things that cost money now that we never had to account for in the past. Like, daycare prices went up astronomically after COVID. There was like a waiting list, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody who could provide a service all of a sudden became a celebrity, daycare included. It was like, oh, you got to be put on the waiting list. You got to wait 6 months, 1 year. If you have an infant, you got to pay $437 a week, and people fighting for the spots. You get me? So now, as everything is like trying to normalize, people are still price gouging like a mofo. Even like insurance, like car insurance, went up astronomically. The price of groceries went up astronomically. And let's just be for real. When you have kids, there are just things that you have to buy and purchase in order to be able to take care of your family, like extra food. You got to pay for snacks. You got to pay for diapers, wipes. So I don't think it's fair that you can sit there and judge and be like, oh, you should not be struggling if you have a 2-income household. Because yes, you can. You could be making a lot of money. You could be managing it well. But none of that matters when every single little thing in your life costs money. And y'all know we in an economy and a country that don't give a jack about the people living in it, especially parents, or especially the people who have to take care of like an elderly family member or something. Life just be lifing. So don't be so quick to judge, because you never know. It could happen to you. I said all that to say everybody's situation is different. We're living in unknown times. And some people don't have any extra support outside of the 2-income household that they have. Like, some people are able to work from home where they don't have to worry about gas and travel and paying the toll. Some people live at home with their parents who are willing to watch their children so they don't have to worry about daycare. Some people are making enough money where taxes don't eat them up, or they're able to save and get the things that they need, whereas you may have a family that had to use a credit card to get groceries one time, or had to take out a loan so that they can move. Just be mindful and kind to each other, because times is hard, okay? 2-income household, couples, single, it's hard for everybody.
Yet again, if you have a family, paycheck to paycheck is hard. And I think it's quite challenging to plan how much money you actually technically need for a child. I mean, of course, there's stats and figures on how much you need to raise a child, which is a lot of money. But you have to take into account inflation. You have to take into account a pandemic happening, because inflation is one thing. A pandemic is a completely different thing, and you best believe in the next 30 years, at least something crazy is going to happen, right? So it's hard to plan, like being ready for disruption, like or disruptive things is really challenging when it comes to trying to plan finances around, what could happen, what might. Yeah. And also sometimes you start a family hoping that God will provide. And I know this sounds really selfish and wrong, but a lot of people do this. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong, especially when you can provide. It's just that you're just hoping that you don't need an additional 5,000, which that's what a lot of people are going through. 5,000 is like we're pushing it, it's heartbreaking.
I live paycheck to paycheck in one of the most expensive cities in the country. Let's talk about it. Well, I'm a person that really values lifestyle over financial comfortability. After I went to college, and even before college, in my entire life, I always wanted to be in New York City. And while I don't live in New York City, I live right outside of New York City in a city called Hoboken, New Jersey. Because of the close proximity to New York, I can get to New York in 10 minutes or less by train. Most people that do live here work in the city. I'm 22 years old. I'm about to be 23, and I graduated college back in May. And I've been living here now for 4 months, and every single month I struggle to make rent. I would say roughly that my monthly income is probably about $1,900, give or take. My monthly bills add up to about $1,550 a month after everything. I do live alone. I don't have roommates, which if I did, it wouldn't be so stressful. And I do get help from my parents, which honestly, if I didn't, it wouldn't be possible to live alone. Every month, it's stressful when it comes to money. I have to think about every little thing. I grew up in a different financial situation than I'm living in, and like I was fully aware that that was something that I was going to have to adjust to. I have money saved, but it's not like a crazy amount. Like I think I have more money saved and invested than most people my age, but I'll say like it really doesn't do much because I'm like such a freak. Like I would rather die than take anything out of my savings. But like I said, my parents do help me a lot. My dad actually splits my rent with me, which I'm so grateful for, and I have no idea how long he's gonna be willing to do that, but I will cross that bridge when I get there. My mom doesn't give me any money per se, but sometimes she'll pay for my groceries. I'm an hourly employee, so income is fully dependent on how many hours I work that month. Last month, for example, I didn't work many hours because my performance was down, and last month I didn't even have anything left over after I paid my rent. This month it should be a lot better, but like I said, I barely made anything last month, so now I have like a $600 credit card bill, which is like really stressing me out. I'm like praying for Christmas money. I don't even want anything for Christmas, just give me cash. I don't have multiple streams of income, and I honestly don't have time to really put towards having another stream of income because I do have my own podcast that I independently run, which takes up pretty much all the time I have when I'm not working. Hopefully one day that will make me some extra money, but for right now it's still in its baby stages. It's about 6 months old. If I did really need help, like I so could like ask my dad for more money or whatever, but like it's honestly like I want to be financially independent. Like I'm out of college and I want to be as financially independent as I can be, and right now I'm definitely at the limit. I haven't grocery shopped, or even my mom hasn't brought me groceries in like 2 weeks, and I literally can't until I get paid again. The fridge and freezer are practically empty, but we're surviving. To add to that, I'm also an extremely social person. Pretty much all of my friends, besides my work friends, make significantly more money than me. And most of the time I go out, I don't end up paying for anything because like guys buy us drinks, and occasionally I'll have a night out that ends up costing me like anywhere between like $60 and $80, and those nights financially wreck me, and I can only afford to do that like once a month at the most. I wouldn't say I am insecure about how much money I make or how much money I don't make. It's more just like a little bit of a culture shock. This is also my first time in my life where I ever had to pay my own bills in any way. Now I pay for everything, my medical bills, half my rent, all my groceries, Wi-Fi, utilities, like the list goes on. My mom doesn't buy me groceries like every month or anything. It's just like occasionally like she'll go to the grocery store for me, and I'm always so grateful when she does. If anyone else has any questions, I'd be happy to answer, but I promise you it is possible.
When I think about it, I'm not poor, but I live paycheck to paycheck. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I have money, but not, like, enough. You know what I mean? Because by the time I do have money, it's the next bill. It's the next month. And I have to pay my bills. So, I'm low-key poor. I don't know. Whatever.
Thank you for sticking around and watching the video, especially if you're watching this one, this little snippet here. That means you finished the entire video. Thank you. And if you actually did finish the entire video, comment in the put a note in the comments that says, put a heart, put like a green heart. I just want to see how many of you actually got to this point. Also, I'm trying to figure out the length of the videos. I'm still kind of playing around with that. I mean, even formats and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out what makes sense for this channel. There's so many ideas that I have. There's so many resources I want to share as well. Like, I have a lot of ideas. I've seen people complaining about certain things that I feel like, oh, I saw a solution with that. Oh, I saw this and I just want to help. Or change up the setting. Like, I've had this mic for a while now and I just didn't know what to do with it. So I'm like, let me just use it. So yeah, let me know. Give me your suggestions actually in the comments. I need like a completely different software from what I'm using as well to edit some of my videos. So I'm in experimentation mode. So, but thank you for supporting my little tiny channel. It means a lot. And I hope I can actually make it even more impactful, valuable, working on it, and see you on the next video.